My background starts probably around my 8th grade year in middle school. That's when I started writing my first book in class and had an assignment and did really well on it. And it was real easy. And I was like, you know what? I like that. I like being able to use that medium as an expression. It's also around the time that I found out that I was about to become a father. And yeah,
wow.
it was some big surprising news. That was my face. Wow. Definitely had to keep a focused head at the time. So I was writing my books. I ended up publishing it my sophomore year in high school, my first book. And I was playing football, but I had to quit because I was like, you know what? I need to get a job. Stuff was starting to increase. I got a son now. He's here at this point. So I'm like, you know what? Let me get a job. I was going to an open interview at this restaurant, this chain restaurant, and I was on my way home, and then a man pulled up on me, and he was like, you look real dapper. I was like, oh, thank you. And he was like, where you coming from? Where you heading to? I was like, I just left an interview, heading back to my mom's house, and he started just inquiring more about me. Come to find out, he had published a history type book for the same people I had published my first book to. And once he found out that, it was an instant connection. And he's like, I operate this insurance company down the road, and you got a job. I think minimum wage was like $7 back then. I think he was paying me like $12, $13 an hour.
Wow.
And I was like, yeah, forget football. I'm gonna make some money, And one of the most important lessons he had taught me. My first day there, he had told me, he was like, you know what, Tony? I'm gonna show you how to be a boss. I'm gonna teach you how to be a boss. He was like, when you come in here for the first hour or two, I just want you to chill, relax, play some games on your iPad or whatever, do what you do. I'm like, all right, cool, easy money. So every day I came in, that's what I did. I hop on my iPad, play the game. I think at the time, Flappy Bird or something was real popular. So I was playing some game on my iPad, and then a couple of days later, that hour and a half turned to about an hour, 10 minutes that I would actually sit down and do it before I got to work. And then by the next week, quickly, that hour and a half turned to 30 minutes, and then a couple of days later, I was coming straight in and getting to work. It was like, that's how you be a boss. I wanted to see how long you would take from taking an hour and a half to 2 hours to just come in and getting straight to the work. It took you about a week. That's enough time. You're a boss. I appreciated that lesson because it let me know that even though you got time to play, it ain't no time to play.
Yeah.
Let's make it work. So it was real inspiring, and I hold that dear in my heart to this day. I appreciate Mr. Khalil for what he did for me. Fast forward, I was writing my books, I was doing youth motivational speaking. I was blessed to be able to talk to Lincoln University. They had a subsidiary in St. Louis, in the Riverview District, and they would let me speak to the kids, to the youth there, about my life story. Having a kid at a young age and still being able to write books and do motivational speaking, giving them somebody else to look at other than an athlete or a rapper that look like them and say, okay, I'm writing books and now they're making a living for my family or whatever the case. So did that, and by the end of high school I had published 2 novels and one of my children's books. And I did the children's book because my son had asked me, hey Dad, can you write me a children's book? I wasn't going to say no. So I came to Springfield, Missouri to attend school at Missouri State University. And I actually what was crazy was, I had almost a full ride to go to Oregon University on academics. But Oregon was really, really far, and my auntie had just passed, and she had 4 kids. And the daddies wasn't really in the picture, so I knew they were going to be going between my mom and my granny. So I wanted to be not too far from St. Louis, Missouri, but close enough at the same time. So if they need me or want to come down here, we'll be at that distance to make it happen. So I turned down that scholarship to go to Missouri State. I originally came to be a journalist, to major in journalism, and broadcast journalism, but after doing some research and quickly realizing that field was really oversaturated and not a lot of money there, I was like, you know what? That's not for me. I still could express myself through the medium of writing, through storytelling and book writing and poetry and spoken words. I was like, you know what? I can leave journalism alone. What else can I do? But over the course of those years of writing, I picked up on some computer skills, learning how to do graphic design, and make my own book covers and logos and flyers for my book signings and stuff like that. So I was like, oh, I'm a little computer savvy, and I also did aerospace dynamics in high school, modeling planes with the help of the contract they had with Boeing. So I was like, I can go into IT and dabbled into that, got a bunch of internships. Thankfully, I was able to get a bunch of internships through STL Youth Jobs. Thank you so much, Ms. Hillary, I appreciate you. They gave me the skills and confidence I needed to tackle IT. So I was doing that while I was in school, and I majored and graduated with my first bachelor's in computer information systems. And I was like, you know what? I'm still in Springfield, kind of feel like home, so I might as well go back to school. So I went back and got another bachelor's in IT infrastructure. I enjoyed much, and I was still in Springfield. Like, you know what? I'll go ahead and get another bachelor's, and I got a third bachelor's in business analysis. My sophomore year, I published my third novel, and then I kind of set novels aside to finish up my actual children's book series that I started with my son. So I ended up making like 8 children's book, Jack the Little Koala series, and 3 novels at the time. In the midst of all of that, I still had time to do youth motivational speaking and outreach. So in St. Louis, I was really involved with Washington University Brown School, in particular this organization called Homegrown STL, where we focused on impoverished zip codes within St. Louis and how we could better sustain it and stimulate growth, and just had a bunch of healthy conversations about that with healthy actions to follow up. Through that work and my stature and everything, I was able to go meet President Barack Obama back in 2019, and it was amazing. Got to meet him, and I actually got to lead a class while I was there, and talk to some youth that were around my age about my life and about going forward and what some of the things I went through. Because one of the stigmas we have, especially in the black community, that men are tough and we have this tough exterior, and we don't get hurt and we shouldn't cry. That's not true. We should cry. We should express ourselves healthy. Did that, and then after I came back from San Francisco meeting President Barack Obama, his team reached out to me like a month and a half later, like, Tony, we didn't know, about all this other stuff you were doing with the books and everything you're involved in. We would love to train you more. I was like, let's do it. Train Obama Foundation. So yes, I would love to. So he ended up putting me through this training called Youth Equity Training, and it was a way for me to learn more so about what more I could be doing in the community, and how to successfully facilitate that. So I did that, and over the course of that training, I was lucky to be able to talk to President Obama every 6 to 8 months while I was going through that training. So I think I talked to him about twice over Zoom after meeting him in February 2019, and it was amazing. But out of that training, 2 things happened. One, I created a nonprofit called Project You Belong, where I specifically focus on planting and cultivating the seed in the minds of Black African American young boys and men, that they should be afforded the same opportunity as the rest of society. And one of the avenues I do that through is talking to them about suicide prevention, mental health, and expressing themselves through literary elements, vision boards, short story writing, poetry, spoken word, music. Unfortunately, I kicked that off on the cusp of the pandemic, so it kind of slowed things down as far as the banquet I wanted to have for it, and celebrate the boys and the work that they did throughout the workshops I facilitated. But what the pandemic also allowed for me to do was open up that contest. I had a short story contest for the boys. So instead of doing it just in the Ozarks and St. Louis, I opened it up worldwide. And when I say we had submissions from as far as Nigeria, boys writing in their short stories for the contest, it was heartwarming. But it was letting me also know that I was on the right path. And the second thing that came out of that training. I was able to learn about the statistics behind children's literature. And sadly, there's less than 5% of all the children's literature that's put out that has an African American male protagonist. And when you think about it, it's kind of jacked up, kind of fucked up that a young black boy can't see himself in a positive light in the literature that he reads. So it's like, I'm in that lane. I could help that lane. So I put down the Jack Little Koala series, nipped that in the bud, and right now I'm focusing on 3 children's books I have with African American male protagonists.
Wow.
So that's pretty much my background.